G'day, this is Captainoob, and here we are back in Best Fallout. I've missed you, Fallout New Vegas. Here we are, we're going to do some weapons in here. This is a plasma caster, one of the more iconic weapons in the Fallout franchise. It's been here since the very start, back when the games were 2D and isometric. It is called a plasma caster now, instead of a plasma rifle, because the smaller rifle type plasma weapons have taken its place, but I kind of like the lore reasons to these actually being allowed to coexist, and it's kind of interesting because when they first adopted these plasma weapons, well, the US military quickly figured out, well, yes, these do pack a punch, but a lot of resources and time and money needed to go into, making these things, not to mention how cumbersome they are. You rarely see these things used outside of, power armor suits because, look, it's very unwieldy. So you're going to need the servos of the power armor to keep it carried around. So the US military opted for something slightly less powerful, but slightly more suited to, average combat situations, especially in urban areas where this thing would be, easy to flare around a bit, less cumbersome, and also we wouldn't have to, have extensive training because it has the same sort of design features with the pistol grip and the foregrip at the front as regular ballistic weapons. So, it's a lot less of a learning curve when you've gone from regular rifles to this as compared to this, which is just a big old batch with a barrel on the end. But yeah, that's kind of cool. So basically this weapon it's got its own niche, which is great. A lot of the weapon variety in Fallout New Vegas is staggering. You'll find that a lot of weapons do actually cover one specific niche properly. This one has a high damage per shot with a semi-decent rate of fire. We can improve that a little bit through the use of mods, not like external mods like in-game mods. We'll see that in a second. But yeah, this thing is a slow-firing, heavy-hitting thing. So it'll be punishing you for missed shots, but the shots you do hit, well, your enemies will feel it. So taking a quick look at this thing's damage, we've got 80 damage, and oh my god, I love this thing. I love it. It cycles from damage to DPS, which is perfect. And yeah, that's 80 and 270 with the regular old fusion cells, but there's ammo types in this game, so if we shove max charge here as the filter magically changes, thank you very much, it goes to 391 and 121, which is absolutely massive. Now, this thing, we can actually increase this DPS even more with the increased rate of fire from this HS electrode, which basically turns it into the plasma rifle, the turbo plasma rifle back in Fallout 1. Let me just chuck some max charge so we can actually see this thing's DPS. So now I've got a DPS of 500, which is absolutely massive, and a damage of 21. Obviously, the damage wouldn't increase, but the DPS will. And compared to what this thing performs like in the 2D isometric games, well, you can fire this thing willy-nilly. And look how fast you can make this thing fire. It's so quick. It's so goddamn quick. Even though I'm being swarmed by the giant lizard deathclaw men, well, I can quickly dispatch them very, very easily. And, getting the cripples on their legs will make it an extremely easy job to kill them. You might notice how having the max charge in this will degrade this thing very quickly. I'm of the mind that I should absolutely flog the fuck out of the weapons that I use, so if worst comes to worst, we'll go ahead and repair this thing with weapon repair kits, but I'll do that off screen so you don't have to sit me scrolling through the menus and everything. Now, I was looking on the wiki just for a little bit of background information. It did say something about this thing being rather inconsistent when it comes to using this thing in third person, and I have noticed this in practice, just like a little practice run, but on this occasion it looks like we're doing quite fine. One of the other interesting things is that sometimes when you put the weapon away, it won't go away properly. It'll kind of be attached to your arm. And unlike a lot of the heavy weapons in this game, like the minigun or a Gatling laser, you don't wear a giant pack on the back because everything's kind of stored inside the thing. So, that's kind of nice. It makes it a good concealed weapon because, well, where'd it go? Where'd you put it, Abigail? Anyways, we'll continue through here. Actually, we won't get this thing repaired first. BRB. Rightio. Sometimes people complain about, why am I using max charge ammo? Well, it's because I'm going for damage. I want to limit or bash the crap out of this thing, so that's what we're going to do. Anyways, we've taken a sip from the trusty thing, and we get a cheeky little sneak attack critical, which is nice. Good old goo piles. Very cinematic way to show that off. I actually knocked that Deathclaw in his ass, which is great. You'll notice with the meltdown perk, I think it's a meltdown perk, you can actually make your corpses explode, and I'm going to run my ass up here because if that Deathclaw mummy finds me, Or Chad. I'm very dead. Let's not blame the weapon for that. That was just basically my incompetence. Let's take this from the top. We'll snipe at these guys again. Critical strike cripples the arm. You could probably end up going for the legs and then do a lot better against the death claws because, well, if they can't run at you, then they're kind of screwed. So we'll go for the hobbler perk here. Although we have to be using VATS for that, but just ignore that treadmilling death claw. That's completely fine. And I do use the cinematic death cam to indicate when the aggro is gone. That's the only time it'll proc. So when that procs, that means we're all done here. And we'll start this off by sneaking a little bit. We'll go ahead and use this thing in VATS and see what we can do. Not perfect chances. We'll take our chances. As you can tell, for a heavy gun, this is pretty goddamn efficient. There we go. A sneak attack critical, down 0-1 with many health to spare. That was an incredibly powerful attack there. There's the power armor guy that I usually miss. I only noticed that recently, actually. Where's the head? It's so hard to find the head. There it is. Those critical strikes are absolutely monstrous. I blew up the wrong thing there. If you didn't see the power armor before, you can see it now. And yeah, you can knock things on their ass, including Alpha Deathclaw Chad over there, which is, I'm glad to see him rubbed out. Now we can jump down and we'll face these Deathclaws a little more bravely than, you know, getting them from a rock. And if we can trigger a decent amount of the plasma exploding here, we can get some good crowd control on these guys. But yeah, this thing just fires blisteringly fast. It is... When it's smashing out the rounds here, the DPS is high. We're going to degrade this thing and do less damage over time as this thing gets in an even worse state. But, you know, there are more economic ways to run this. You could probably get away with using the bulk fusion cells, micro fusion cells, sorry, for the most part because, you know, this thing will run into your resources a little bit if you want to go get it repaired every now and then from that guy at the NCR because he's the only guy in the game with 100% repair skill. Good on him. Anyways, so we're done with these death claws. I guess we'll move on to something a little bit more bigger, a little bit more scary. Okay, so here we are at Gunrunners Plaza. There's not one but two Robo Scorpions here. See, hang on, let me show you. See Gunrunners Plaza? It makes sense, right? Anyways, so what we'll do is we'll just start shooting at this thing from back here. And we'll see what we can do. One mag with this thing, it's looking in pretty bad shape, to be honest. Can't see what I'm shooting at, so maybe I won't bother shooting in third person. That thing can take a lot of health out of me, but I'm thinking I've got this quite easily. Those criticals absolutely obliterate it. I turn him into a goo pile. This giant robotic scorpion turns into a goo pile of that size. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, we'll go for the stinger. See if we can't pull a lucky crit out of this. Some really intense camera work there. The VATS cameraman really doing some good work. Let's use this stop sign as cover. Okay, so apparently that didn't work. Let's go for the torso again. That's the easiest hit. And if we miss, concentrated fire will do some good stuff. Not the best. But regardless of that, the battle is mine. We got messed up due to some radiation. Once again, you were fired and exploded again. See, all of it just got turned into this. They even dropped a lair and one of those things. I feel like you should be dropping like the 3-ringed variant of those. Anyways, let's move on to something maybe smaller, a little bit smaller. Okay, before I unleash my wrath on the next lot of monstrosities I have created, I'm gonna see if this rushing water increases the DPS at all. Doesn't look like it. Anyways, so Caesar's Legion has returned, and yeah, take that, John Doman or whatever, whoever voices you. And yeah, they all kind of, it's raining Caesars again. Yeah, I forgot that this went a little bit like this last time. As it turns out, a 55-year-old man who's in charge of a bunch of men wearing skirts. Apparently he's not the toughest man ever. Okay, it's going to take a while for me to clean up this mess, I think. Okay, so here we are at Dry Wells, and yeah, this is Bethesda doing... This is Obsidian doing nuke raids before it was cool, before Bethesda made it a bad thing. Anyways, so yeah, basically what's going on here is I nuked the crap out of the Skirt boys, and now they're all tools, so, you know, I gotta kill them. And I'll exterminate them with extreme prejudice. It's totally morally justified, because they're Romans, and we all know how bad the Romans were with their stupid fallen empires. Anyway, so I think these guys, you know, being tools, they do regenerate health out of the radiation, but luckily for me, we've got the DPS to sort them out before they can do that much regeneration. Not to mention the fire rate there, very, very nice. Anyway, so we'll have a couple of cloaked tools here. It's like PvPers, they think they can take you when they're really quite, well, not that much of a threat, to be honest. Good times. Anyway, so I kind of think that's it. Look, I took 2 doses of Rad-X for this shit. Surely there's got to be something else. A sniper, perhaps? Evil, toolified version of Boone. What's it gonna be? Well, there's a bit of screaming going on. There you are. Looks like I was outwitted by an AI using a stealth boy. Anyways, with all of those guys out of the way, I think you get the idea of the plasma caster. Yeah, it's better in this game than it is in any other game, because the 2D isometrics, well, there was very little user input for actually shooting stuff. Although it might have performed a lot, you know, better compared to other weapons, you didn't really feel like the actual power behind it. And then Fallout 76 is just too slow. It's nothing like this. They've actually nailed it here, I think, and you know, Obsidian doing their own weapons, right? I don't mean to bash Fallout 76, but man, they make it easy, don't they? Anyways, so if you'd like to see this weapon in your game, Vangraph, sell it. It's a pretty common household item these days in New Vegas. You can pick it up from basically anywhere, so yeah, not too hard to get. But the Vangraphs, they specialize in energy weapon selling, but honestly, this is probably all common knowledge. This game came out yonks ago, so I shouldn't need to ramble on about that. But yeah, it's a fun weapon to use, and if you haven't used it, you got a heavy gun character, well, energy weapons are great in this game. You should give it a chance. It's a really fun thing to use. Like this video for more Fallout New Vegas content. Thank you very much for watching.